just doing a bit of catching up with some of the parts that go underside the bus rather than doing welding. Felt like I needed a bit of a break from that side of things. Suspension arms, I've stripped them back, then degreased them, then used the POR15 metal prep. Kind of puts I think it's a phosphate. I think it's a phosphate sort of coating on, a bit like plating. And then eventually once it's dried off, then you can coat it with POR15. Comes out quite nice. I may well just go over it with a epoxy primer anyway. I'm thinking that'll probably do that, but it gives it a nice base coat. I also need to swap out those rubbers there. I've got some new ones here. New rubbers. Just haven't done that yet. And then I thought I'd show you this. This is rust remover, which is this stuff. Evapo rust. Quite a few people have been saying it's quite good. I thought I'd do one of those experiments where you put it in the container and we'll let it act on half of this sort of hub which has got all the surface rust on. I will just see how it comes out. So, and then I've got the other, I don't know what you call that, it goes on the end of the suspension arm. It's the hub basically, it has all the bearings in it. So we'll see how this turns out, and then I can pop that in there as well. And yeah, you can actually see it sort of looks like it's started to come through there already. I've literally just dropped it in there. So we see. It's just an experiment. So look at that. Where we've had it lying in the fluid and I've cleaned it up a bit now. Look at that, it's just completely clean. No effort. Probably very little damage as well. I don't know what it's like around on there. I don't think I'd scrubbed off much of the actual scale on the side of the hub, so we might have to do that. But yeah, the face is nice. So I'll just pop that in on the other side. Maybe take that knot off. I did just drop the nuts in there as well. So and off the stuff and then on the back of it. Well, I don't quite know what's going on the back of it because I haven't really cleaned it up very well. When we drop it in, it does stink. We'll give it that. It smells of bad drains, which, well, not the nicest thing to be smelling of, as you can imagine. But then we can do that. We'll drop that in there and it can just do itself, really. I can get on with doing other things. Not that I've been doing other things recently. I'm literally just helping a friend over the road sort out his old car because he's got an old Moss. So I was helping him to sort that out so that we said the carburetors are not working on it. So then I started to look at the car and the first thing is it doesn't start. So the starter solenoid was stuck, so I had to free that off. Now I found that the starter motor's stuck, so I probably need to take that off, get it freed off, and hopefully it'll work and doesn't need a replacement. Then I might be able to turn it over. I'll find out if there's a spark, if it's pumping fuel, and so on. So when somebody says to you, "Oh, could you help me with this simple job?" I think it's just the carburetors. It's funny how it never really turns out to be just a simple job, but I don't mind. So it's the next day. Let's have a quick look, see how it worked. So here it is in its pot, and ooh, looks like that might clean up quite nicely. Let's have get a brighter light on there. So you can see where it's dried there, and then where it's, yeah, I think I'll give that a quick clean, and I'll show you again in a second. So just wiping this down, you can see that all the nasty stuff comes off. And God, it stinks though. It does smell of sulfur dioxide, eggs. I think that's part of its process. I don't remember what it's made from, but I'll have to look it up. But yeah, that cleans up all right. Bit of cleaning, well, carb spray. Yeah, that saved me a bit of work in that I haven't had to sand it, or I can just literally set that going with I can set that going with some other of the components I've got lying around, like the that hub there. Next day it's done. I haven't had to do any hard work to get that done, which is great. So that's what I shall do, I think. Yeah, so I've cleaned that up now. So there you go. That's what it looks like when you clean it up. So yeah, that stuff works quite well. Evapo rust. It's a lot less hassle. Also cleaned up this shaft as well. So I can coat them with a bit of acid etch primer where it's required. Because they're cast iron basically, so they would always rust. But it'll just help them look a bit nice for a few years. And I'll put the other one in the tub. I maybe need to have a bigger tub. I'll sort that out. I do have something bigger, so I can just get that in there and get that sorting itself out in the meantime. So I've been messing about with the evapo rust on all my other parts. Got them over here. What with the fluid and the components, probably should have took the components off first. Anyway, seems to have been working quite well. I actually meant to watch this off with water, so I'll go and do that now. That's looking pretty good from where it was at. This one, let's see if we've got any light, extra light. Yeah, it's not looking too bad. This one was up, it was messed up to there. It has been the other way around. That's all looking good, just need to clean. This, yep, just needs to clean. And this is probably the same, just need to clean. So we've coated the components from the underside, all the suspension cone components and the wheel hub and the wheel hub bearing housing now. I've actually finished painting it also, and here they are. And I've done it in two different ways. I've got some bits done in POR 15 and some bits done in just acid etch primer, a black acid etch prime, which I have, which is, it's been a great product. I've had it for years and years. So here we are, we've got, there's a brake disc, which, or brake drum, apologies, which I did coat that quite a while ago. I did that when I first stripped the bus down. So you can see that's just acid etch primer on that. You can see, because it's cast iron, you can actually see where it starts to come through. And that's what will always happen with cast iron. It's just always going to do that. So I might take that off again and maybe give it a coat of something else. But the problem with a brake drum is it does get hot, and it's always going to, whatever coating you put on it is always going to come off in the end. So maybe I'll just wire wheel it back and put another coat of the acid etch prime on it. This stuff, I use this TOR Coatings SP etch primer. It's not the nicest stuff to use. You do have to use a mask with it. It's quite pungent. You know, it's got a, but it, you know, when you look at this half shaft here, which is, I've just coated the end where it attaches to the drive shafts. It's because it goes rusty there. Everything else is caked in grease along the shaft length and where the bearings go on and the seals go to it. But those bits go rusty, so it's worth coating. It'll just make it look a bit nicer or a bit longer. These hubs, they come out okay. Got all the rust off them with the Evapo Rust product. And then it just looks, I'll have to grease on the inside in there. You see the light. You have to spread a lot of grease in there because that basically is just bare cast iron now, so that would rust out. The hub, it's just a very thin light coating of the etch primer on the surface there, because that's where the wheel and the drum make to. But the back's got a nice coating. I could give that another coat of the etch primer, and I think 2 coats would probably do that well. And then the other 2 there, which are just the same as what I've showed you already. So that's everything I've done in acid etch prime. Then I moved on to the old POR 15, which I tend to buy these little cans. I did buy a large can a while ago, and if I show you here, this is a new can. I bought a pair of them. the lids are rubbish. They're actually, it doesn't sit inside, push in like old paint cans used to do. Like this one does, this one pushes inside the rim and locks in place. These have this odd, I don't know, I might even be able to take this one off, just no, it's stuck in now. I tend to use a clamp on the top of them when I put them on, but they just destroy themselves. This is POR 15 on here, and this, well, it's not the greatest finish. It's okay. But these are obviously my, well, I say obviously, it might not be obvious to you. These are the attached to the end of the torsion bar on the suspension, and then these attached to there. They attach on there. And yes, that provides your suspension. So these have been coated in POR 15 as well. These come out quite nice. I still haven't drilled out these bushes here. I need to drill them out and swap them out before I forget. But they don't really need a coat of anything else. But I am led to believe from what I've read, POR 15 can be a bit brittle and chip. So my inclination with this is, although the POR 15 is a nice coating from the point of view, it etches itself into the surface, and if there's any rust, it does help to keep it back. I do believe that I might just mat them back and coat them in Raptor paint, which is basically a kind of underseal. If you use the clear Raptor paint, you get the Raptor paint in clear, you can add your paint colour to it. I was thinking about doing that. I do have a tin of paint for my bus, a 2-pack tin from many years ago that I never used. I always got it because just in case I had any paint chips or anything when I first got the bus back in the early 2000s. I opened it the other day to see if it was okay, and it is actually okay. Whether or not I should use that with the clear Raptor paint, I don't know, because it's 20 years old. If not older, it's probably older than 20 years old. So I don't know what to do about that. I don't know whether to use it or not. It seems a shame to waste it because it's very expensive stuff. But obviously if it's had it, it's had it. So if anybody's got any opinions on that, if you know about whether or not you should use paint that's 20 years old but hasn't actually been opened, so it's been sat there for that long, does it just need a good mix and it'll be okay? Because I'd be mixing it with the clear Raptor paint, would it be okay? I don't know. I don't know. It's possibly not worth the risk because you don't want it peeling off and coming away. Oh, that's a lot of work then, so I'll have to think about that. But anyway, that's what I've done so far with the old coating, where I got a bit diverted away from doing bus fabrication work. I just felt like doing something else for a bit. And then the other couple of parts I have here, I've got, these are the disc brake backing plates. Now you can see there, I've actually got a bit of rust through there. Now I am inclined, being the cheapskate that I am, I'll let these sit in the evapo rust because they've got some surface rust on here. I had actually already done that with these when I first stripped the bus down a couple of years ago. But it's obviously, it's already surface rutted up again. But I am inclined to maybe just do a repair on this. Cut this out, put a new piece in, potentially even do the same with this piece as well. Just cut this out, make a new piece out of steel, template it up, and yeah, just repair it basically, because these are quite expensive. I can't remember how much they cost now. £45, something like that, £50. But when you need two, it soon starts to build up. Although I don't really need to, this one's a lot better condition. So, but I'll give them both the dip in the Evapo Rust product again. Leave them in for a day, clean them up, and then paint them with the Acid Etch Prime. And that will be them done then. That'll be most of the components I have taken off of the rear suspension, all sorted out, and just ready to go back on the bus when everything's to be rebuilt, which is a nice place to be, because sometimes you find with a project like this, once you've finished the work on the bus, then you realise you go to build up the suspension, and there's still lots of jobs you need to do because you never actually approached them at the time. So I don't want to put myself in that position. I'd rather have them done before I get to that stage. So yeah, just a quick look at some of the things. It's always nice to think when you're doing a big project, just divert yourself every now and then, because sorry, I had a problem with the sound there, it just cut out. But
what I was waffling on about was just talking about how much we've got to do. That rear quarter over there, the valance, the battery tray, then there's the rear wheel arch and the tub behind that rear wheel arch on this right hand side, and then we've got the front rear wheel arch and we've got the front beam. Well, call it a day there. That'll do for just talking about bus components on the underside. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks for viewing. Bye now.